This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Holy goodness, third update of the day here on the channel. I got a lot to discuss apparently. My brain's just ticking away with video topics today right before we get into game number 20 as mentioned in the previous video tomorrow. So what are we talking about in this one? Well, ladies and gentlemen, last updated October 6, 2019 was how our 2019 crop of NHL draft picks is doing. We had 6 of them all told, if I can do math with my fingers, for 2019. Of course, led by Filip Roberge, the hot commodity that was Filip Roberge supposedly at the 2019 draft before we scooped him up at number 8 and ran away kind of deal. And of course, leaving some guys off the board. And so, there's questions still maybe for Edmonton Oilers fans. But that's where I'm going to stop for a second. If you're new to the channel, for the next 10 minutes or so, take the time to consider hitting the subscribe button. Click the bell if you want to get notified as soon as a video comes out. And with that, further said, let's go get into this because that's exactly where we'll lead off with our coverage today is the number 8 overall selection in the 2019 NHL entry draft, Filip Roberge. And guys, this is crazy one for the Edmonton Oilers. He's on loan in Sweden with Skellefteå AIK. He's played 16 games, had 2 assists, and had 2 points with 2 penalty minutes and a -3 rating. So for Filip Roberge, this is exactly what the plan was. Nothing deviated. Everything kind of came together, and he stayed in Sweden so that he can get those big playing time minutes. Because, guys, at this point, with the logjam we have on the defensive depth chart down in Bakersfield, it's not the right time to adapt him to the North American game. Now the other side too is sending him to the OHL. Do we want to force that transition? Well, technically speaking, we didn't. His OHL rights were held by somebody. I think it's Hamilton that owns them. But you know what? That's a move. Should we want to change? I think you can still add him to the OHL up to some point this season. So there's something maybe available to the Oilers if they want to change things up, right? If 2 points in 16 games, things aren't going well for them. If that's something they want to change up, possibly. But I think right now the plan would be to keep him in Sweden, bare minimum if you are to change anything, until at least the World Juniors are over. That said, right, play for Sweden, stay in Sweden, get everything going for Sweden, and then play in the WJC. Because Sweden U20 action for him so far this year, he's had 2 points, 7 games. Guys, you want to talk about the MVP of the 2019 World Junior Championships? Let me tell you, Filip Roberge is already one of the leading candidates for this list, and the next guy we'll talk about may as well be another leading candidate. So he's had some interesting games as well in the Champions Hockey League. I believe he did face Jesse Puljujärvi at one point. He's been held out 6 games, no points. I think that's all wrapped up, however, for Mr. Filip Roberge at this point. So that's a little bit on him. Like, nothing too much to write home about on his stats sheet here on Elite Prospects. And that's the thing. I haven't watched much tape. I haven't seen much other than that opening season highlight. But I'm just, in these updates, I try to just go off the stat sheet and give you what I know or what I've heard, and then we move on kind of deal. And that's exactly where we'll move on to Raphael Lavoie, who has been, well, fantastic so far this season down there in the QMJHL, pacing 1.5 per game. He's got 13 goals and 17 assists for the Halifax Mooseheads through 20 games. He's got 26 penalty minutes, so he's on pace to set a way big career high in penalty minutes, let me tell you. And he's a +2, so nothing too special. Then again, I don't know much about what's going on with the Halifax Mooseheads so far, but you look at this for him, you know, he's been fantastic so far, right? Nothing to say too much about him. And of course, he was also doing very, very well from what I heard. I think scoring an overtime winner against Team Russia in the Canada or in the CHL Russia series. So that's another thing to point to right there. I wish I had those stats on Elite Prospects, but they actually don't have those stats available. So unfortunately, I didn't do my digging for that, and I'm not about to go hold up this video to dig for that right now. So you guys definitely go check out his stats against Team Russia, because from everything I heard, they were fantastic, and that's very good news for us, because when I said Filip Roberge is a leading candidate to be MVP of the World Junior Championships this year, don't for a second think that Raphael Lavoie is actually 1A and Roberge's 1B, or Lavoie's 1B and Roberge's 1A. These guys are tight-necked in there. Depending on which team does better throughout the tournament, I think one of these two guys very well could be the MVP. And the reason I say Broberg could be that MVP is because you take what a guy like Cale Makar did, right, in the World Junior Championships a few years back. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about what Cale Makar did for Team Canada that year. Filip Roberge very much so could do that for Team Canada, or for Team Sweden this season. And what you do miss is the fact that the WJC Under 20s, which is the World Junior Championships, he had 1 assist and 4 games played for Sweden. So you give him that much more playing time and stuff, I think Filip Roberge is going to lead the World Junior Championships for Sweden offensively and defensively. So we've covered Raphael Lavoie and Filip Roberge, which the two storylines there. Now there's the 21-year-old Ilya Konovalov, who's, well, got a couple more years left in the KHL this year and next, I believe. Last time we updated it, well, Lokomotiv Yaroslav had been having a terrible time of it. Head coach Craig McTavish got canned. Things have changed. Ty Ratty's been shipped out to the Torpedo over in the KHL, and things are different in Yaroslav Lokomotiv's territory, or Lokomotiv Yaroslav territory of hockey. Now, that starts with a goaltender doing some good things. 251 goals against average and a 914 save percentage for Mr. Ilya Konovalov through 18 games now. That's more in line with what he's done in years previous. 45 games last year, 189 goals against average and a 930 save percentage. So, you know what? Maybe a little bit more sophomore slump now that he's played his second full year in the KHL. Kind of deal with the with a guy like Miko Koskinen by chance. So that's what I'd be getting at there. So Ilya Konovalov, one of the guys we have to definitely pay attention to. Might end up being a waste of a third-round pick, but by the time he's 25, he could also be a heck of a third-round pick. Let's not kid ourselves. Now, round 4, number 100 overall, the 100 man in the NHL draft this past year, or this year, or whatever you want to say, this past offseason, is Mr. Matai Blumel. And, well, this one's fun for you guys, is he's been playing for the Czech League, HC Dynamo Perdubis, and he's had 3 points, 2 goals, 1 assist in 11 games. But then it gets really interesting playing for the Czech Republic U20 International Junior Team. He has 4 points in 6 games played, so that's fantastic for him so far this season. And that's something we have to keep watching. I think this guy is definitely going to be on the, Czech Republic, Czech Republic World Junior Cup team. So you just have to watch for him. Guys, we could easily have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 guys on the World Junior team or World Junior teams this upcoming December. So that's something we have to keep watching for. And I think maybe teams might be named a little bit. I'm not too sure, but we'll get there as time goes on. As now, the other guy we have to pay attention to is round number 6 pick, 162nd overall, Mr. Tomasz Mazura, and another Czech Republic kid. He's been playing for the Kimball Union Academy U.S. High School Prep League. And, well, that's one we have to keep an eye open for. He's got no stats there. Really not much going on the way of Tomasz Mazura for whatever reason this season. But we'll find out more about him. I got to find a site to find some stuff about him. However, let's get over to our final kid we got to look out for, and it's the Loko Yaroslav MHL team captain, Mr. Maxime Duchaine. And this is a good one for us as well. Our 7th round pick. You hope he puts it together, but so far through 15 games, only 3 points for the, 5'10", 168-pound centerman. 8 penalty minutes and a -2 rating, so not much happening for Maxime Duchaine so far. However, in the JCWC, which is something you have to keep an eye open for on his record, he's got 5 points in 5 games with local Yaroslav, so that's maybe the Russian, some kind of championship they have going on that we will definitely have to keep our eyes on for sure. He's a +7 rating there as well. So that's kind of your round out of form of the 6 guys in our system. Like I said, 3 guys very easily could be full-time World Junior Championship players. 2 guys could be MVPs, most outstanding players, however they do it in the WJCs. I have not paid attention to that tournament enough like I used to when I was younger, and I'd have whole Christmas break off, let me tell you. But there's a couple guys in there, guys, that we could have dynamite December and early January from and be a ton of fun to watch. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Let me know your thoughts on who you're most excited. Are you disappointed by Broberg? Are you disappointed by any of these guys? Or are you excited to just keep seeing the updates December, whatever, 12th, January 13th, when I roll out those updates and we keep checking back and getting these stats going and seeing what these guys are doing? Guys, Tyson, Dolynny TV, I am up on out of here.